So this is continuing on chapter 5 notes talking about making dilutions. And if you watch my previous video, I realized I did a mistake. It should be 120 milliliters of stock when you take 1.2 times 500 divided by 5. So just understand that it's exactly the same thing. I just looked at my notes wrong. So if you do see that video, please note that that is a mistake on my part. So these next two problems that you find in your notes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you try them on your own. So I'm going to stop the video. When you see the video come back up, you will see the answers, and I'll kind of walk through it with you so you can see how to do it. But this is using M1V1 in just a different kind of format. So we now have, again, another example. I have a 6 molar concentrated solution trying to take it down to 1.5. I need a total volume of 250. So again, the X is generally going to be how much of that stock solution you need to do. So I kind of gave it away with my mess up on my other video. 62.5 milliliters is what you should have gotten here. So that's the stock solution. You're going to take a volumetric pipette and dispense that into that exact volume into the 250 milliliter volumetric flask. You add water to the line that's on the container and you mix it. Again, just note that we have magical pipettes, so we can do any volume that we want. I want you to get the practice with the math, but I also want you to understand the pipette and the volumetric flask. And then the second problem I gave you here is 2 molar going to 0.5 molar. Again, you should end up with 22.5 when you do the math here, milliliters. You're going to take the pipette, dispense it into 100 ml volumetric flask, add water to the line, and mix. Okay. So the last set of problems that you have in your notes is just giving you practice with doing all kinds of calculations. One set of calculations I'm going to have you do is going to be solutions from a solid form. So I'm telling you, you have solid citric acid here, you have solid malic acid, or you're doing a solution from a stock. So you have a liquid that has a higher concentration, you could dilute it down. So realize that there are two different ways of making solutions, and you have to keep that straight. So try A and B here. I'm going to stop the video and then show you my work. And do the same thing for number 2 as well. So hopefully you tried these. Again, solutions from solid. The first one was just getting practice with doing a molarity calculation. So I gave you 20 grams into 1.5 liters of water. So the molar mass of the citric acid, if you add up the 6 carbons, 8 hydrogens, 7 oxygens, is about 192. So you take the 20 divided by 192, that gives you about 0.104 moles of that substance, and you divide it by the liters to get the molarity. So you should have gotten around 0.069 molarity. And again, as long as you're close, you're going to be fine. If I have the one with the malic acid, again, you have a molar mass of 116, adding that all up. I need to make a 6 molar, and I need 500 mils of it. So again, I'm going to set up my 4 molar X over my volume in liters, which is 0.5. So I take 4 times 0.5, I get 2 moles. My molar mass is 116, so I multiply that and I get around 232 grams. So the additional thing that you have to do with solids is you have to mass it out on a balance, and you're going to dump that solid directly into a volumetric flask. So if it's a solid, you're not using a pipette, and I will be checking for that when you do these types of problems. So I have a 500 ml volumetric flask. I put the solid into that. I add water to the line, and I mix. So that is how you make a solution from a solid. Now again, if you have the stock, that's what we were just practicing. If I have a 3 molar and I want to get it down to 1.2, it comes out to be about 100 milliliters of that stock solution that I need to put into a new container, a 250 ml volumetric flask. So I need to take a volumetric pipette, dispense about 100 mils into that flask. I add water to the line and I mix. And that is, again, the difference between a solid, okay, adding it to a volumetric flask. Here, because it's already a liquid, you use a pipette. So those are going to be the 2 types of solutions I'm going to ask you to